So for nearly a decade, one name has been at the center of a massive controversy in India, Vijay Mallya. You probably know him as the king of good times. He's been silent this whole time, but now he's finally broken that silence. He just gave his first big interview, and he's telling his side of the story. So let's get right into it and unpack what he had to say.
Wow. Okay, this quote right here, it really sets the stage for everything he's about to claim. The government, and of course the media, made me a zero from a hero. I mean, that's a powerful statement. He's basically saying he's not a crook, but a victim of a massive campaign that flipped his public image completely upside down. So, let's dig into that, starting with the very image that made him famous in the first place.
All right, first section, King of Good Times. We're talking the man versus the brand. So was that whole larger-than-life persona the real deal, or was it all just brilliant marketing?
Okay, so you've got two totally different stories here. On one side, there's the story we all remember, right? The flashy showman with the yachts, the parties, the whole 9 yards. But then you look at Mallya's account. He says, look, I was just a young, confident chairman. My lifestyle wasn't that crazy for my age, but the media just blew it way out of proportion because, it made for great headlines. He's arguing they created a caricature of him.
And this is a really key part of his argument. He's saying that the title, King of Good Times, was never his title. It was the official slogan for Kingfisher beer. It was literally on the bottle. His point is that his job was to be the face of the brand, to embody that slogan for marketing. But he claims the media they just ran with it and made the brand and the man one and the same. He says they blurred that line on purpose.
Okay, let's shift gears to the big one, the fall of Kingfisher Airlines. This is really central to his argument that he wasn't a criminal, but just a victim of some seriously bad luck.
So according to Mallya, the story of Kingfisher is all about terrible timing. Just look at this. They launch in 2005 with this big premium vision. Then boom, 2008 hits. Not only do you get the global financial crisis, but crude oil prices go through the roof, hitting $140 a barrel. He's basically saying these were massive shocks from the outside that would have crippled almost any airline.
Yeah, he calls it a perfect storm. And it wasn't just those two things. He says on top of the global crisis and oil prices, he was getting hammered by insane government fuel taxes in India. Plus, and this is a big one, he claims he had foreign investment ready to go, a lifeline for the airline, but government policy at the time wouldn't allow it. It was like every single door was slamming shut.
Okay, now this is a bombshell claim. He says he went to the finance minister at the time, Pranab Mukherjee, and said, look, I have to downsize this airline to keep it alive. And, according to Mallya, he was told, no, don't downsize, keep going, the banks will support you. If this is true, it completely changes the story of how and why he took on all that debt.
And that advice he claims he got? Well, it takes us right to the absolute core of this whole saga, the money. We're talking about the loan, the default, and that huge number that's always thrown around. It's a tale of two very different ledgers. And just a quick note, for anyone listening outside of India, a crore is 10 million rupees. So we're talking about some serious money here.
So here's where things get really interesting. The public narrative, the number you always hear in the news, is 9,000 crores. A massive loan default scam, right? But Mallya's account is totally different. He says, nope, that's not the real number. And he points to an official court document to back it up.
And that official number, according to him, is this, 6,203 crores. That's the principal plus all the interest. And he's very, very clear on another point. This was a corporate debt. This was money owed by Kingfisher Airlines, the company, not by Vijay Mallya, the person.
So, to fight back against the idea that he was just trying to run away from the debt, he says he actually tried to pay it back. He claims he made not one, but 4 different settlement offers to the banks. 4, and this was all between 2012 and 2015. But he says every single one of them was rejected.
And then we get to what is, honestly, his trump card. This number is staggering. He points out that the government itself has said they've recovered 14,100 crores from selling off his assets. I mean, just let that sink in for a second. His argument is pretty simple. If the total debt was about 6,200 crores, and the banks have gotten back more than twice that amount, then where's the crime? Where's the fraud he's accused of?
So if the money story is that complicated, what about the story of him fleeing the country? Was he a fugitive or was he exiled? As you can probably guess, his version of events is, well, it's very different. Again, two completely different realities. The story we all heard was that he vanished, right? Slipped out of the country just a day before a big Supreme Court hearing. But his story, he says it was a pre-scheduled business meeting in Geneva. And get this, he claims he actually told the finance minister about it in Parliament right before he left.
So here's how he breaks it down. 1. He leaves for what he says was a planned meeting. 2. While he's gone, the whole situation explodes in the media. He gets a legal summons and asks for a bit of time to respond, saying he's trying to work out a settlement with the banks. But then, step 3, the Indian government cancels his passport. And with no passport, then, step 3, the Indian government cancels his passport. And with no passport, he literally can't get on a plane to fly back. He's effectively trapped, or as he would put it, exiled.
Okay, so let's bring this all together. After all this time, what's his final point? What does he want us to believe is the real story behind this whole 9-year saga?
He uses this phrase over and over. Poster boy. You know what a poster boy is, right? It's when someone is used as the prime example for something. He's arguing that the government needed a big, famous face to put on their new crackdown on loan defaulters, and he was the perfect target. And this is really the bottom line of his entire argument. He believes his situation represents a fundamental and, in his view, dangerous change in India. The idea that a high-profile business failure, something that used to be a civil issue, is now treated as criminal fraud from the get-go. And he says he was just the first most public example of this new playbook.
So that's his account. And it really leaves us with a huge question, doesn't it? Is this a simple story of fraud, of a tycoon who took the money and ran? Or is it something a lot more complicated, a massive business failure that got turned into a